They say curiosity killed the cat. But in my neighborhood, it nearly killed. Karen's reputation, and I swear to you nothing, could have prepared me for the circus that was about to unfold right outside my front door, because imagine this. It's still dark outside. The kind of quiet pre-dawn silence where every little sound feels like thunder. You're cradling a mug of coffee trying to rub the sleep from your eyes. And then through the soft glow of the horizon, you spot your HOA president. Yes, the same Karen who polices lawn heights and trash bin placements. Creeping down your driveway in a lavender bathrobe, slippers scuffing against the pavement, and without hesitation she pops open your mailbox, flips through your mail like she's checking a menu, plucks out a few envelopes, tucks them neatly under her arm, and strolls away as if she owns not only the street, but the federal postal system too. And that bizarre sight set off a chain of events that would snowball into a full-blown sting operation, and end with her being led away in handcuffs while half the neighborhood watched from behind. They're blinds. But let's rewind, because this wasn't just one weird morning. No, this had been building for weeks, maybe even months, starting with little annoyances that I kept brushing off, like my utility bills arriving late or not at all, a birthday card from my sister that never showed up, and the kicker, the IRS swearing they had delivered an important form that I never received. And at first I blamed it on sloppy postal, roots, or simple bad luck, because that's easier than admitting something fishy might be happening right under your nose. But the pattern was too precise, too consistent, and pretty soon paranoia stopped sounding paranoid and started sounding like logic. So one morning I decided enough was enough, brewed coffee strong enough to wake the dead, parked myself by the window like some suburban detective, and waited. And let me tell you, the silence of a neighborhood still asleep is almost oppressive. Every creak of the house, every distant car, engine, every rustle of the trees outside had my nerves on edge. And just when I thought I might be overreacting, I saw the shadow. First vague and shapeless, and then sharper as it crept closer. And then the reveal. Karen. Not clipboard Karen, not HOA president Karen, but sleepy lavender bathrobe Karen, strolling down like it was her daily morning ritual to loot my mailbox. And I just sat there frozen, coffee halfway to my lips, completely floored by what I was seeing, because who in their right mind steals mail in broad daylight, or well, dawnlight, from someone who lives 3 houses down? And I'll admit my first thought wasn't noble. It was more like, did I just hallucinate this? But the longer I sat there, the more it sank in that this wasn't some random one-off porch pirate incident. This was deliberate, practiced, maybe even routine. And confronting her directly wasn't an option, because Karen was the kind of person who could twist any accusation into a personal vendetta. She would spin it, make me the villain, and probably fine me for the angle of my recycling bin. So I did the only thing left. I started collecting evidence, which meant transforming my quiet mornings into makeshift stakeouts, setting up a cheap security camera disguised as a lawn ornament, adjusting my alarm to catch her favorite hour, and sure enough, like clockwork, she returned again and again. Same bathrobe, same slippers, same bold stroll to my mailbox, sometimes swiping 1 or 2 envelopes, sometimes flipping through and leaving them all, like she was cataloging my life one bill at a time. And the footage piled up until I had enough hours to make my own reality TV show. But the bigger mystery gnawed at me. Why? What on earth was she after? And that question is what pushed me to escalate. Because local cops gave me polite shrugs when I showed them the tapes. Mail theft is technically a federal crime, but unless you've got financial fraud attached, it barely cracks their to-do list. So I reached out to the postal inspector's office, the unsung heroes who actually deal with stolen mail, and suddenly things got real fast, because these folks don't mess around. They studied the footage, nodded grimly, and within days they were in my driveway blending into the scenery, like ordinary dog walkers, except these dog walkers had federal badges in their back pockets. And just like that, my quiet cul-de-sac became the backdrop of an undercover sting operation, complete with hidden cameras, marked envelopes, and decoy letters laced with invisible dye and tracking chips, all designed to lure Karen into the trap. And like some villain who couldn't resist returning to the scene of the crime, she kept coming, oblivious to the fact that every stolen envelope now had a digital breadcrumb attached to it. And the day it all went down is burned into my brain, because it was surreal watching the queen of the HOA waltz down the street, reach into my mailbox with that same entitled flick of the wrist, pluck out the bait envelopes, and just as she tucked them under her arm, the SUVs rolled in like something out of a TV, Drama, unmarked doors flying open, agents in plain clothes converging. And before Karen could even process what was happening, her wrists were cuffed. The stolen mail confiscated, and the neighborhood gossip mill instantly went into overdrive. Blinds cracking open, whispers spreading, and within hours the entire cul-de-sac knew. Karen wasn't the hero of the HOA she pretended to be, but a federal defendant caught stealing neighbors' letters, and the fallout was explosive. Some people speculated she was after credit card offers to open fraudulent accounts. Others thought she was snooping for gossip, piecing together people's private lives from bills and correspondence to tighten her grip on the HOA, like some suburban dictator. But whatever the reason, the feds kept details quiet and charges were filed. And as for our neighborhood, it was like someone had lifted a weight. The next HOA meeting felt almost celebratory. Neighbors cracking jokes about installing Karen-proof mailboxes, people laughing in a way they hadn't when she was in charge. And me, well, I'll never look at a lavender bathrobe the same way again. And the whole saga left me with one conclusion. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but in this case, curiosity saved my mail, exposed a thief, toppled a suburban tyrant, and gave our sleepy block the kind of drama you usually only see on Netflix. So to everyone listening out there, whether you're in New York, Nebraska, or halfway around the world, keep your coffee strong, your eyes open, and maybe, just maybe, add an extra lock to your mailbox, because you never know when the villain of your story might be the very person who claims to keep your neighborhood safe.